Hi. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this session on Research Core Development, Updates and Initiatives. And now I will hand it over to our presenters.
Thank you very much. And big thanks to Sarah for pitching in and helping out with the technological aspect of this. It's not her day job, so she's done a great job setting us up and getting us ready to go. So big thank you to you. My name is Ben Wright. I'm the Director of Research Core Development within the Office of Sponsored Programs, and lucky enough today to be joined by Kara Clissold, who is the Associate Director within the School of Medicine Office of Research Technologies. And I can't see who's online, but I can see a few faces in the room who I've introduced myself to 4 times today. So I know many of you may have already heard some of this material. I'm going to try to run through it pretty quickly. We only have 25 minutes. We are at the end of the day, though, so Kara and I will stick around after to answer any questions. We'll probably utilize the full 25 minutes with the presentation, but save your questions till the end, and we'll be happy to stick around a little bit later to answer your questions. I was thinking I think we're the latest starting presentation, so I'm pretty sure that makes us the capstone event of the symposium. So we're going to go with that. But thank you guys for sticking around and listening to us here at 4 o'clock. All right, so our contact information is here again. I'm Ben Wright. My counterpart is Megan Kraft. She's the Interim Director of Research Core Strategy within the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Research. Also joined by Michael Akridge, who is a financial analyst on the RCD team within OSP. Christopher Gregory is the Director of the Office of Research Technologies within the School of Medicine. And again, Kara Clissold is joining us here as well. She's the Associate Director of the Office of Research Technologies. I'm going to talk about some of our core facilities, core facility infrastructure here at UNC. I'm going to give some updates on some of the initiatives that the Research Core Development team is working on, and then I'm going to turn it over to Kara, who's going to talk about some of the things that the Office of Research Technologies are doing within the School of Medicine. I'm going to try to get through this pretty quickly. So for fiscal year 2023, we had 110 official recharge centers across campus. We had about 125 research cores across campus. So right from the get-go, you can see the vast scope that core facilities have on campus here at UNC. In fiscal year 2023, our core facilities generated $43 million in overall revenue, and that was up almost $2 million from fiscal year 22, and it was up nearly $10 million from fiscal year 19. So our core facilities are on a very strong trajectory when it comes to revenue generation. In terms of the research supported, core facilities provided services to over 700 labs on campus in fiscal year 2023. They provided services to over 40 external universities and 40 external businesses. So again, just a measure of the scope and the size of the work that our UNC core facilities are doing. To continue on that, out of our fiscal year 2023 total revenue, 35 million of that was internal revenue and 8 million of that was external revenue. Of that internal revenue, there were over 2,100 projects supported by core facilities. So in other words, over 2,100 projects paid for core services in fiscal year 2023. I know this is the Research Administrators Symposium, so it's easy to see 2,100 projects is a lot of projects. You can clearly see that our core facilities here at UNC support a huge amount of the research and science that's happening on campus. Of the direct expenses charged to sponsored projects, those direct expenses generated $7.6 million in revenue in fiscal year 2023. And the total impact to research, which has an asterisk near it, was $1.6 billion for fiscal year 2023. Now, what does this represent? This represents the total value of all awards to which a core facility service was charged. So yes, it's a bit of an inflated number. We don't even have $1.6 billion of awards per year. Some of the awards that we calculated span multiple years. So that's why that $1.6 billion is so large. However, it's important to note that we're beginning to get our hands around metrics and data that support just how important our core facilities are here at UNC. You'll hear me say it, I did not invent this, but we consider core facilities to be the backbone of our research infrastructure here at UNC. Without core facilities, research doesn't happen. As simple as that. And we feel very strongly that our job is not only to help core facilities with day-to-day operations, problems, things like that, but our job is to use some of these data and use these metrics to advocate on behalf of the core facilities. We will advocate to department leadership, we'll advocate to school and college leadership, and we'll advocate to university leadership as well. And we believe that core facilities should continue to be invested in all across campus because of their impact on the research that's being done here. So just some metrics. It's nice to have these metrics and this data in our back pocket so we can better advocate for all of our cores. Looking at the core support infrastructure here at UNC, those of you that work in a core or work adjacent to cores know that there are several offices and a lot of names that get thrown out when we talk about core support here at UNC. And this is just a slide showing all of those. We have the research core development team, which I introduced a moment ago, the OSP cost analysis and compliance team, which is led by Brian Burlshofer within the Office of Sponsored Programs. The Office of Research Technologies within the School of Medicine is Chris Gregory and Kara Clissold. Within the Lineberger Comprehensive Cancer Center, Lineberger has about 20 to 25 cores or core adjacents, as we like to call them. The cores there are overseen by Holly Dressman, who is the Assistant Director of Shared Resources and Operations within Lineberger. And we also have the UNC College of Arts and Sciences. Jim Cahoon is the Executive Director of Research Core Facilities and oversees the core facilities within the College of Arts and Sciences. Not going to go into detail on this slide, but there's just some roles and responsibilities of each team. What I would like to highlight is that there are a couple different teams to reach out to, a couple different names to reach out to, but we all work very closely together to advocate for and support the cores. One other important thing to note here is the Office of Research Technologies operates CFAC, which is the Core Facility Advocacy Committee, which helps out cores not only within the School of Medicine, but across campus as well. Megan and I, from March through July of this year, we conducted 58 core tours of core facilities across campus, and it was hot and it was tiring, but it was a great experience. We got to go walk through core's physical spaces. We got to talk to core directors and core staff directly to talk about their pain points, to talk about what exactly they do, what their workflows look like. And it was an awesome experience. So just wanted to say thank you to everybody that allowed us to come out, that allowed me to ask a bunch of dumb questions about science. And if we didn't come out to see you during round one, we are planning to do round two in calendar year 2024. So be on the lookout for that. We'd like to also throw out a shameless plug for the Research Week Core Open House Tour event that we are holding during Research Week this year, October 23rd through 25th. We have over 40 cores participating. Maybe just 40 cores, maybe I embellished there. We have 40 cores participating, and what this event is going to look like is we have scheduled out 2 to 3 hour blocks for each core, during which folks can come to the core, tour the core, talk to the core director, talk to core staff. We really think it's a good opportunity for cores to gain exposure across campus to different sorts of people. So if you're in a different core, or you're in a department that helps out cores or utilizes core facilities, or is interested in utilizing core facilities, please feel free to check out the website. No registration is required, but we're hoping to get a good attendance to see the cores around campus. We just sent out an email about that yesterday, so we ask that you guys pass along the email and the flyer to get the word out about that. I know many of you probably joined the rate review presentation just a couple hours ago, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on this, but did want to acknowledge that the OSP cost analysis and compliance team is the only group on campus that can officially review and approve recharge rates. Kara, myself, Megan, Chris, we're all happy to help walk through the rate review process with you. We're happy to help you fill out the documents. Feel free to reach out to us at any time. The OSP cost analysis and compliance team is the group that's responsible for reviewing and approving those rates. They've done a lot to streamline the rate review process. Turnaround times have improved dramatically. They've completed 69 reviews since October of 2022, and they're continuing to put things in place to further streamline the rate review process. Would like to point out that rate review status information is available in the financial reports in Tableau, which I'll get into more detail here in just a moment. And there is a lot of great information out on our RCD webpage regarding rate reviews and all things core facilities. So please feel free to check that out. Back in July, we rolled out financial reporting tools for core facilities, and this is utilizing a software called Tableau. And this enables core staff, core directors to quickly and easily view financial information related to their cores. The link is provided here. We have a great guidance document on our webpage that you guys can check out that shows how to navigate through the reports and shows how to dig in to find transactional data behind the amounts that are represented on the dashboards. So please check that out. And again, the rate review information is included in there as well. There are 5 dashboards in total in the financial reports, and I'm just throwing a few screenshots here. There's a cores total, which provides revenue expense information to get the total balance of the cores. This is going to be anything that's charged to your core source. So your 1.9 unique core source is going to show up here. There's not going to be any encumbrances or projections, no subsidies from non-core sources. We're working on all of that. But for right now, the only thing that you're going to see is activity charged to the 1.9 core source. The financial data is also available there. This is line by line transactional level detail that you guys now have access to for the core and can get your hands on. It's updated daily. It's in real time, up to date information there. There's also a core comparison dashboard as well. I know many of you guys are not core directors and core staff. You may be departmental administrators or business managers, accounting staff. We also added you guys into the financial reports. So you guys have access to these if you're associated with a core, if your department has a core. And the core comparison page allows you to review information for different cores back to back to back. So you can view them all at one time. Totals are per core, not in the aggregate. Wanted to touch on iLabs. We had an iLab presentation this morning as well, so I don't want to go into much detail in this, but we do have a core support inbox that anyone utilizing iLabs can email. Michael Akridge is here. He's our financial analyst. He is our resident iLabs expert, and he has great customer service skills when it comes to iLabs and is happy to help anybody out. For calendar year 2023, we will have onboarded 8 new cores by the end of the fiscal year. We're not trying to push it, not trying to force it upon anyone, but if anybody is interested in joining iLabs and utilizing that or getting more information about how it can help your core, please reach out. We're constantly working on iLab improvements, which includes training documents. We have a subsidy function, collaborating course function, a lot going on in the iLab space. So if you are currently utilizing it and have questions or want to make improvements, let us know. If you are not currently utilizing it and want more information, let us know as well. We have an RCD webpage out there that has a lot of great information for cores. We are going to continually be adding on to that. So check that out. The link is provided here. And lastly, we are preparing and creating an asset and equipment database, which will help us track asset and equipment held across all of the cores. This includes service contracts as well. We've engaged with Oris to begin creating that asset database, and we expect to have an update and more news coming around the beginning of calendar year 2024. All right, I tried to rush through it.
You did it.
Thank you. I will turn it over to Kara Clissold now.
Thanks, Ben. Lots of great work coming out of Ben and Megan and Michael's efforts for cores here at UNC. So as Ben introduced, my name is Kara Clissold. I work in the Office of Research Technologies. For those of you who don't know my office, the man on the left is Chris Gregory. He is the director in the Office of Research Technologies, and he also sits in the Department of Genetics as faculty. So we are within the Office of Research in the School of Medicine, which means we report to Dr. Blossom Damania, who's the Vice Dean for Research. If you are used to the sort of core facility webpage that's existed at UNC for a while, that's hosted by us. So any updates to the website or information that's posted there comes through my office. For those of you who aren't really familiar with us, since 2008, our office has focused on advocating for CORES specifically within the School of Medicine through CFAC. We have supported CORES with operational processes, helped people begin new CORES, helped sunset CORES, helped merge CORES. We help with rate reviews, developing operating plans. We've helped CORES prepare for external audits when that comes up. Process mapping, quality improvement within the CORES, and external marketing. We have also helped with educating core personnel on areas of interest. And so we've always held core directors meetings, typically quarterly. We've begun doing that now jointly with Megan and Ben, and that is all essentially continuing education for the core directors, for core staff, for things like communication strategies, process mapping, green initiatives at UNC. We provide membership to the Association of Biomedical Resource Facilities, which is the sort of national level association that core facilities fall under. We have an institutional membership. If you are a core director or staff in a core, you have a membership through us. And so we are not always communicated with when new staff come on board. So if you want access to any of the great things ABRF has to offer, reach out to me and I make that kind of final connection happen. And the Core Facility Advocacy Committee, CFAC, probably most of you know us because we are a funding arm for core facilities. So we provide funding twice a year for method development, equipment, and general lab needs. We also run annually a voucher program that provides up to $10,000 for PIs to utilize School of Medicine core facilities for pilot projects and new method development. We also provide money to core facility directors and staff for training and certification, and we handle emergency requests. So we're often the first line of defense when an equipment breaks down and it's the middle of the year and nobody knows where to go to for funds. That's why we're here. And so what CFAC does really great is we turn those requests around quickly. Often within 2 to 3 business days, we can get you an answer on the amount of funding that we can provide to help with those emergency requests. I want to talk a little bit about 2 sort of current initiatives we have here really quickly. One is support for instrumentation grant submissions. A lot of our cores have instrumentation that are nearing end of life, and need to be having those conversations and considerations about how to plan for life cycle replacement. Extramural funding is always an opportunity, and we'll be holding, we're helping to support cores who want to explore that option. So part of that is assessing the needs of core directors and encouraging planning for the core's life to plan for equipment needs that are both short and long term. We assist our cores in helping to find the right funding mechanisms. If you have a $30,000 piece of instrumentation, that's going to be a very different need than a $1.5 million piece of instrumentation. And there's different mechanisms out there that we can help direct you to. We also facilitate connection to other core directors who have successfully submitted those extramural grants and can serve as mentors. And that's everything from setting up one-on-one conversations about what that process looked like to providing sample applications. This is what a successful grant looked like. You can use this now to help you build yours because you've seen what's successful. And then we also support the request for matching funds. So you want to go to North Carolina Biotech Center and get a grant, you're required to have a 20% match. CFAC can provide those funds for cores. We are hosting an instrumentation grant panel discussion on October 12th, so a plug out there for that. This is going to discuss NSF MRI, NIH X10, the Department of Defense DURIT program, and NCDC IIG grant mechanisms. So Dr. Pablo Ariel, Dr. Brandy Ehrman, Dr. Josh Chen, Dr. Ash Tripathi, and Dr. Paul Maddox, who sat in on an NIH studies, S10 study section, will all be part of the grant, of this grant roundtable discussion for directors and staff interested in these instrumentation mechanisms. We also are interested in measuring the impact of core facilities. Ben is doing a great job getting the financial reporting and financial dashboards that are developed by the RCD team he talked to you about. We also want to understand the educational and scientific impacts that our cores have through understanding the role of cores in student dissertations and theses and in journal articles and grants supported. So acknowledgement tracking for core facilities is something I think I've talked to a lot of the core directors and staff in the room about over the last year or so. And so thank you for your time, for those of you who that's the case for. This really matters to demonstrate the return on investment in cores. And it's also vital for centers and for departments to be able to report back on funding. We keep falling back on this knowledge is power. And so if we can help you get those numbers and get that impact, it helps everybody. And this is a little bit of the data that we're now getting. So we used to run a fairly simple search string mechanism. That's the little blue bars. We were getting about 100 publications a year for facilities, for 64 of our core facilities on campus. I've now developed a fairly comprehensive search string process. We're looking to automate this in the future and have we're in the works with developing the prototypes for that. But we're now getting up over 1,000 publications across all of those 64 cores per year in scientific articles, which is just a huge increase in our knowledge of the impacts cores have. We also are having an impact globally on education. And so this is specifically talking about student dissertations and theses. Every dot on that map is a college or university across the world that has acknowledged a UNC core facility in a student dissertation or thesis. And searches for 64 cores facilities have yielded almost 2,500 acknowledgements of those cores in dissertations and theses. So we are now beginning to have a measure of the impact that our core facilities have on education here. And that's, we're a state school, and that's part of our mandate, is to have an impact on education. And we clearly are. Our cores work together, and we know this. And so 17% of our dissertations and theses acknowledge more than one UNC core facility. It's collaborative. It's really an amazing worldwide impact that those who support cores should know. And so our aim is to make this data available to all of you. We are developing a reporting tool for acknowledgement tracking. This would be specifically for core facilities at UNC Chapel Hill. It would not be limited to School of Medicine cores. We would help all cores across campus do this. Two other initiatives, just to mention really quickly. One is that we are now in calendar year 2024, we're going to begin offering travel awards for core facility directors and staff to facilitate attendance to conferences and trainings. You'll have more information coming about that shortly. And then we're also going to be offering a peer mentorship program for core directors. You guys are often in a very unique situation, and the community around you is important. And so pairing new core directors with more experienced core directors and being able to talk about all of the challenges facing cores is a really important way for you all to advance your own careers. And so we are facilitating opportunities. If you're interested in learning any more about this, please reach out to anybody on the slide. Ben and Megan and Chris and I talk weekly, sometimes daily. And so we always can help you get the information that you need to help your cores be successful.
Thanks, Kara. We had one online question that asks if departments can utilize the new asset database. And at this time, we're only committing to provide the asset database for core facilities. That database will be specifically used for equipment and service agreements for equipment housed and utilized by core facilities. Obviously, that's going to involve some departmental input and influence. But from at the beginning, at least as we roll that out, it will only be available for core facilities. Does anybody have any questions in the room here? Thank you guys for hanging out with us until 4:30. I really appreciate it. And those of you that attended all 4 core sessions today, gold star. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Online as well, if there's anybody there. Thank you guys.